Welcome into the Question Number 9 podcast. My name is Seth Warner, and today we're talking about Kentucky basketball from a fan's perspective. Today we're talking about the news and notes of Kentucky basketball. The last few weeks have been crazy, but it's started to calm down in the Bluegrass, but there are several news to the last few days and the last weekend. One of the big ones is the NBA Draft Combine including the G League camp. It's from Saturday to Sunday. So the G League camp is for guys that are, like last year, Antonio Reeves, that probably aren't NBA guys, but are just fighting for a spot. And if they can do well in that camp, they can get an invite to the actual combine. And some interesting guys for that is Jackson Robinson has gotten an official invite to the combine, and he's been showing well. And then Wogu Poplar is another guy that has had a few good games, but could potentially pull his name out of the draft. Ches Lanier is another guy that I'm pretty sure is testing the waters and that Kentucky's looking at. And another guy that's actually on campus right now is Lanier Omar. He's a 6'7" forward that can really shoot the ball well and was a really high-impact player for FDU and would probably end up being a backup on this coming year's team. That's kind of crazy. But I'm not sure how the fit would work well with him just because I think he only has one more year of eligibility. I'm not sure if he has a COVID year or a redshirt year in there. I'm not sure how that works. But I'm pretty sure he only has one more year of eligibility. And then another interesting note was some of Kentucky's former players, like the Reed Shepherds, Justin Edwards, Antonio Reeves, are all going through the process as well. And, oh, wow, Reed Shepherd had a 42-inch vertical at the NBA Draft Combine. That was his max vert. That means they can run and jump. They do standing vert too, but this is his max. The crazy thing is he had a larger vert than Bronny James, some very notable names. And that's somebody you don't expect to have that athleticism and that pop. They're really getting him for his shooting and his IQ. And then Justin Edwards has been doing really well in the process. He had like 15 points it was 12 points in their last game. Antonio Reeves had 17 points in their last game to lead all scorers, 17 points with 4 assists. And was a really impactful player. And right now, for the NBA draft, gets all their information out and then gives it back to the players. Rob Dillingham and Reed Shepherd were both considered top 10 picks, not from actual individual teams, but from like the NBA itself. And another interesting note was the SEC schedule came out for Kentucky, and Kentucky's only going to play Arkansas once. Because the SEC is adding 2 new teams, that means the schedule arrangement is going to happen different. So Cal is just going to come back to Rupp. We're not going to go to Arkansas too. They're just coming here. And that was an interesting note. And overall, I think this past week has been really interesting. Just with the combination of you have some schedule things. Oh, Kuriza, Kentucky commit. He was on campus and he had like his picture shoot and all that. That was very interesting. Oh, and then another big note, Trent Noah, Kentucky homegrown talent. He's a 6'6" shooting guard. He committed to Kentucky over the weekend. He actually last Tuesday he decommitted from South Carolina, and then on Thursday he committed to Kentucky. It was just a crazy turn of events. He was on all kinds of different radios. He was just all over everything. And right now it's just been really crazy. And then Chandler, Kentucky's commit that Coach Pope brought from BYU. Coach Pope went and met him in the airport when he landed, I think 4 days ago. And it was crazy. His dad even said it, and Coach Pope said it. He might have grown 2 inches since he'd been gone. Probably a legit 6'5", maybe 6'6", even in shoes. And that's just crazy. He's one of those guys you're not expecting a whole lot from this coming year, but somebody you might get more than you're thinking. And Kentucky just is looking to round out their roster with some development pieces. And Coach Pope even talked about that. He's been on a few different shows and he was on Field of 68 for an interview, and he's met with a few different people talking about how different things about the roster, about how he loves the balance and how he's a offensive coach that's passionate about defense and different things. And one of the interesting takeaways from that was he was talking about Carr and how Carr could be our Lauri Markkanen. And Lauri Markkanen is a very versatile player that plays for the Utah Jazz, and he's a very impactful, he's probably their best player. But a lot of people kind of took that the wrong way, I think, because they were saying, oh, does Coach Pope think he'll be as good as Lauri Markkanen? No, he said play that same role. That means be a distributor, be a playmaker, do different things for your team, and be one of the best players on your team. I don't think people realize how big Carr is and how physical he is. I saw several things about his post moves. I saw some clips showing off how, because he's 6'10", and he's very agile. He has the ability to play inside, outside, and I think he's one of the most unique players on Kentucky just because of his ability to block shots, rebound, and score, and be able to just do a variety of things. And that was one of the things I took away from Coach Pope, kind of his press tour a little bit, and the different things that he talked about. And Kentucky's still waiting on this NBA draft process, and it's going to be May 29th is when the cutoff date is for players to be in or out for the NBA draft. So we got to wait another week or so, but I think Kentucky's still in a good spot. I think Kentucky's still a top 25 caliber team without adding a piece. But I think if you add a piece, they're going to be even more electric and potentially a Final Four caliber team. And that's all from the Quest for Number 9 podcast. My name is Seth Warner, and if you're watching us on YouTube, please subscribe, and you can find us on Instagram at Quest for Number 9. Thank you, and I'll see you next time.